Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another question. This one comes from Francois Lernoux. Hope that's right, Francois. Francois asks, could you talk about the differences between alternate picking and economy picking, when to use one or the other? Of course we can, Francois. Let's talk about alternate picking and economy picking and a couple of other types of picking as well. So just to kind of skip to the end and skip to the conclusion, all these different styles of picking is different ways of tackling a technical issue on the guitar, which is moving from one string to the next, is a tricky thing to do. Generally staying on a single string, quite comfortable for us. As soon as we come to string skipping, string crossing, it becomes a lot more challenging. So we've got different picking approaches to tackle that problem. So bear in mind that that's really the only technical reasoning behind the differences. However, the most important thing is how they sound. Which one works best for you? Which one sounds nicest for you? And also things like articulation, which one's going to be most useful? Let's start with the two that you've mentioned, alternate picking and economy picking. So alternate picking is the strict down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, over and over again, and you never change that pattern. So alternate picking on a A major scale, for example, would be like this. And what alternate picking is great for is it's probably, for me at least, gives me the most control, because every single note is a down or an up, and then we're back to a down again. So articulation wise, I really feel in control. I know what's coming next, and I can really, if I want one note to stick out, I can really easily do that. It's this repeating pattern, and it fits really nicely under the fingers. Economy picking is one way that we can start to tackle the problem of alternate picking. Now the problem of alternate picking is when I come here, down, up, down, the problem with that is depending on which way my plectrum's facing, my plectrum can get stuck between the E and the A string. Down, up, down. I'm kind of stuck here between the E and the A, and my next pick has to be an upstroke. So I now have to go the other side of the A string and then do an upstroke. So we go down, up, down, and then I'm stuck and I have to go out the other side of the A string and then do my upstroke. That only becomes an issue at extreme speeds, which isn't really something I worry about trying to achieve anymore. But if that is a concern of yours, if you want to be able to play super fast, if that's something that's a priority for you, alternate picking could be limiting. So economy picking solves that problem. Instead of going down, up, on the string change, I'm going to go down, up, down, and I'm going to go down again. So I'm going to sweep through the string change, which means I no longer have to go down, up, down, go to the other side of my A string and pick an up. I can just go down, up, down. Now I'm ready to do another down on my A string. And then the opposite's true on the way down. I can go up, and carry that up through onto my B string. So up, down, up, down, up. So I can use the same picking pattern on every single string. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And then on my way back down, I can go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So you only need to get good at that one particular pattern, and you can be all over the neck. Those are the two that you've asked about. Now, just in terms of those two, alternate picking and economy picking. Alternate picking, as I said, you've got a lot of control over it. The problem with the economy picking, sweeping through the string, is it can feel a little bit like I'm not quite in control of that sweep. And if I wanted to do some articulation of some sort, I might find that sweep a limiting factor. I might find I'm not able to quite accent that note. Now Now I can do it, but it feels weird. It just doesn't feel right to me. But if economy picking works for you, there's loads of great economy pickers who can do this. Again, I'm just talking from my own experience here. So the next one is another way to solve this string skipping issue. And this is the way that Michelangelo Batio uses. Now, again, I'm going to take no credit for knowing any of this stuff. This is all purely ripped from Troy Grady, cracking the code. So this one's called the swipe. And this is probably the one, if I'm honest, if I was starting from scratch, I might give this a go. You know, if I had to restart the guitar, I might settle on this one because it's kind of a best of both worlds. So what this is again, it's how we travel across the strings that differentiates it. So I'm going to go down, up, down. On my next string, I want to carry on up, down, up. I want to do alternate picking. But to solve the problem of being stuck between the E and A string, going over the A string, and then coming back up to do my upstroke, what I do is I go down, up, through. And what I'm doing there is I'm picking the E string, but I'm raking through the A string. Now in context, you don't hear it. When I really play it like that, you can probably hear there's something happening. But I'm going down, up, through, and I'm now on the other side of the A string. Down, up, through, and I'm now ready to do an upstroke on my A string, if that makes sense. Now I only need to do this every 6 notes, every pair of strings, so it actually works out quite nice and easy on the guitar. So down, up, through, up, down, up, down, up, through, up, down, up, down, up, through, up, down, up. Now, like I was saying, if I had to relearn the guitar, I think if I started from scratch doing that, you could probably develop quite a bit of control. And you just completely eliminate this concern of string skipping and string crossing because you just go straight through the problem rather than trying to find a way around it. You just go straight through. And if you were to practice this, really focusing on quality of sound, quality of tone, I see no reason why you couldn't develop a really beautiful sound with this approach. So another way to tackle the string crossing problem is something which I did used to do, which is hybrid picking. So we can go down, up, down, middle finger or ring finger or little finger if you like, down, up, down, finger. And then we eliminate the need for any concern here at all. We go down, up, down. The finger takes care of the A string and then we're ready to pick it again. We don't need to do any crossing with our plectrum because our finger's dealing with that string, giving our plectrum plenty of time to get into the new position. Gustavo Assis Brazil is the hybrid guy in terms of education, so check out Gustavo Assis Brazil. He's an absolute beast at it. And again, I don't do any of these picking styles, I'm just showing you the alternatives. So then the final picking style. This is, I'm being very vague here because it's not really a picking style, but it's just kind of do what you want. You don't need to pick every single note. You can blend in left-hand legato with your picking. To give you a very specific pattern, we can use the current kind of trendy player, virtuoso, absolute beast of a player, Josh Meader. If you haven't checked out Josh Meader, go and subscribe to Josh's channel. He's an absolutely ludicrous guitarist, ridiculous. Josh Meader's picking is, I think he's probably quite gypsy based in terms of the inspiration, the influence. But what he does is down, up, hammer, down, up, hammer. I'll try and demonstrate this, but I can't claim to be able to do this at all. But here we go, down, up, hammer. So I find that one really tough. I haven't really sat and practiced that much. But again, that's one that I might consider using if I was starting from scratch. But there's all sorts of ways of picking. That's a specific pattern. But when I play, I'm not thinking like a specific picking pattern. I'm just picking. I'm just playing. And I'll often miss notes. And I do, as you've seen in some of my covers and performance videos, when I need to do something showy offy or shreddy, I've always got some way of tackling it, even if it's not the exact way the original player did it, but I'll just kind of have a blended approach. And I'm a lot less concerned nowadays than I used to be with it has to be perfect alternate picking or it has to be perfect economy picking. So I suppose in summary, Francois, there's 5 different picking approaches: alternate picking, economy picking, what else did we have? Hybrid picking, the swipe, and just free picking, let's call it loose picking or Josh Meader picking. They're just 5 different solutions to one technical problem on the guitar, which is string skipping, string crossing. However, you can also think of them as 5 different colours, 5 different tonal varieties where you might find musical applications for them. You might find musical need for one of those 5 picking patterns over the other. And I think really that's the thing I would want you to take away from this video, is not you've got to do this so you can play really fast. It's, well, this is the way these 5 things sound, and they're going to sound different when you demonstrate them than when I demonstrate them. And you might want to evenly practice all 5, whereas I've kind of just settled on free picking nowadays. So I'll leave it there for you, Francois. I hope you feel you got some answer to your question there, and also hopefully anyone else watching has found that one useful. If you did, please do give this video a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and share with any of your friends who need to work on their picking. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, but drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out, and I heard you find it difficult to cope. Well, here by this bottle full of